Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with Millennial Mike. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm excited to talk about this topic. It's an interesting article.
Yeah, so I forwarded you an article about your peers, all of you lovely millennials, which again my daughter's a part of. So I think millennials are awesome. All of you want to retire by 50, which I think is just amazing. And I think it's a wonderful goal. So I sent you an article. Let's rap about it. What'd you think?
Sure. The first thing whenever I see something like this is I just roll my eyes at the hubris that is involved when people say it seem to suggest, oh, we should just be able to retire by 50. Because what never comes with it is what I'm going to do is outwork every single person around me, do unbelievable things like invest and learn strategies and build myself up so that I have the opportunity and the privilege to retire early. No, it's just, you know what? I just don't think we should work till 65 like our parents, and I don't really have a plan for it. So that's the first knee-jerk response. But yes, let me go ahead and give you the title heading for this. So the article says, millennials want to retire at 50, but how to afford it is another matter. Dreams of stopping work or doing only fulfilling work 15 years before their parents did are colliding with the realities of amassing enough money to do so. So the first thing that I don't like about that is it says right here in the title, colliding with the realities of amassing enough money to do so. In other words, you have to have enough savings to retire early, which goes contradictory to everything you talk about and I talk about.
Yeah, I'm glad you picked that up, right? A lot of kind of the financial media think there's some magic number, $1 million, 1,000,005, 3.2, whatever it is, because they're all basing it on, generally speaking, what's called the 4% rule. If you follow my channel or Dion, right? I think Dion's the best example of this. Is if you just focus on cash flow, passive income, you don't need some magic number, right? Dion financially free, from a very bad position with 16 rentals, I believe, and the man's living his dream now. It's not because you have $1 million in stocks, or you were an early Apple investor or whatever it is. It's no. You did the work, you found an asset that's indexed for inflation that protects you, and it's fixed rate debt. And Dion will go on because of his rentals, not because he's going to look at his stock portfolio and based on a bear market not be able to withdraw. Nope. There's just another way to do it. It's not about that's one of the things with the FIRE movement that I have trouble with is I just want to scrimp and save, and the latte factor, and this, that, and the other thing. Like, go learn a market, go learn your buy box, buy a cash flow, buy a great deal, right? It's hard. They're not just laying on the street, but you can do it. So yeah, it's not about a magic number in my world.
Yeah, so I'm going to read an excerpt from the article here. And one of the thoughts that I had was it was frustrating how they seem to just talk about there's only one way to do it, only one way to retire early. So here from the article, while many millennial workers want financial independence in their 50s, it's not easily achieved, said Christopher Lyman, a certified financial planner with Allied Financial Advisors. I have a lot of people coming in and saying, I read these articles, I see people doing this. I want to do this too, Mr. Lyman said. But while he never tries to dissuade clients, he does inject some realism that achieving that independence by 50 will most likely require saving between 50 and 60% of their salary. So the only one way to do it method, Mike, by this financial advisor, financial planner guy is, okay, look, we're going to take your money, we're going to invest it into Roth IRAs, 401ks, and other types of stock investments. And then if you save 50 to 60% of your salary, compound interest will take effect. And if you start at age 20, you'll still get 30 years. So by the time you're 50, maybe you could retire early. But God forbid we're moving into an economic recession when you want to retire, or you can't save 50 to 60%, or whatever stock you invested in goes bankrupt. Go ahead and give us your thoughts on that, Mike.
So it's unfortunate that financial analysts are conditioned to basically say work 40 hours for 40 years and live on 40%. Most of them don't have savings. Most of them, it's their job. They're not financially free. Right? You're going to someone to talk about freedom who isn't free. It's kind of silly. So what I would tell a millennial is I think you could be financially free in 10 years. You're certainly going to have to make some choices. I would even argue that that's sacrifice. And I know that's a dirty word, but it is what it is. I believe the best way, the surest way to financial freedom early is something that Matt the Lumberjack calls 4-3-2-1. It's 4-3-2-1 version of house hacking. It's 4 moves to freedom. It's not for everyone. If it's not for you, then find another way. So what is the 4-3-2-1? Well, you basically save up 3.5 or maybe 5% for a down payment on a fourplex. You move into said fourplex and live for free. You rent out the other 3 units. Then at some point, maybe 2.5 years later, you save up enough money for another 3.5 or 5% down and buy a triplex, renting the 4th unit that you are now vacating. Now you have 7 units, 6 of them paying you rent. You are living for free. And your income snowball is growing. So instead of taking 2.5 years to buy the triplex, it now takes you 1.5 years to buy the duplex. Same deal. Fill up the unit you left, move into the duplex, and now the income snowball kicks it again, and you can buy the house in 1 year. You now have 10 units, 9 units paying you. You have probably replaced your income. You are probably a net worth millionaire. And you know what? You are a lot closer to financial freedom, and your debt structure is all fixed. And you've only got into these with 5% equity, and your fourplex and your triplex have appreciated probably because you've owned them the longest. There's just a better way. I can get most people retired if you're willing to sacrifice. Maybe not retired, but at least a better financial position in 10 years via the 4, the 3, the 2, and the 1 strategy.
Right.
Simple. There's a better way.
So I'm going to go back to the article real quick, and then we'll just go from there. So it's about 80% of the way through the article. This article goes on for a long time, and I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling. And finally, about 80% of the way through, they finally interview somebody who invests in real estate. So I'll read that part. He says, to stop working at 50, Mr. Frappier, this is the guy who's investing in real estate, is focused on creating several revenue streams beyond his full-time job as a real estate agent. Without passive income, he said, you don't have a means of getting ahead of your financial limitations. Mr. Frappier owns 2 single-family properties in Hampton Beach, New Hampshire. He lives in one and rents out the other, which he estimates generates at least $60,000 a year in income. He's in the process of buying a 10-unit property with several other real estate investors. And he goes on to talk about how he plans to acquire more rental properties over the next 10 years. So I did think it was impressive that one single rental unit's getting him 60,000. I don't know if he's Airbnb that, or maybe it's one building, something like that. Because that seems very high right there.
Yeah, but it sounds like he's in a beach town. Yeah, you can only use the article. It sounds like, when I hear that, I think Airbnb daily rates, that's $5,000 a month, right? That's
right.
That's crazy. So, but again, real estate is very powerful. There are lots of ways to do it. And again, let's be clear, the 10 unity reference, he's going in with other partners. It kind of feels syndication-like. Maybe it's just JVs, I don't know. But again, there are lots of ways to do it. And whether it's, again, the 4-3-2-1 is the easiest because it's the least down. You are lowering your biggest. There's just so much magic in the 4-3-2-1 house hacking. Again, if I could go and design a class for high school seniors, it would be built around that. Because again, you don't have to go to college. You go get a trade, you bust your ass till you're 30, you're done. If you want to work past that, good on you. Don't have to. Yeah. Just a better way.
Yeah. So house hacking is what I do. I currently live in a duplex. I purchased this duplex in November of 2018. So it hasn't even been 4 years yet. In that 4-year period, rents have gone from $1,600 to $2,100. My interest rate through a refinance and my monthly payment has gone down $500 a month. I get to live for free. I then saved all that money and reinvested it into more rentals. I now have, how many do I have? Eight rentals, 10 units, something like that. And I just slowly am watching that income snowball pick up speed as it heads down the hill. By the time I hit 10 years into the game, I don't even know where I'm going to be at. I might be knocking on your door, Mike. But yeah, I mean, if you are just willing to do the work, make the sacrifices. I drive two 30-year-old cars, a Geo Metro and an old busted pickup truck. As I always say,
cannot imagine you in a Geo Metro. I need evidence. I need a picture. Send me a selfie.
Well, I'll wait till you see me in person. I look like a clown stepping out of this thing. It's 6'4". For those of you who know Geos, they're just these little tiny,
little bitty things.
They're made from like Happy Meal plastic. They would just get killed in a crash. It's like driving a Coca-Cola can with a steering wheel. You're just done. Anyways, but I drive these old crappy cars. I get zero ladies from it. I wear clothes from like Walmart. I don't think I've ever shopped at Target's fancy for me. If you sacrifice now, by the time you put 10 years in, I start at 28. By the time I'm 38, like Mike said, I'll be done, completely done. Honestly, I think I'll be done before that, but I guess we'll see.
Again, it doesn't matter. It's just do the work, keep going. You're to the point where you can see the snowball building, which is awesome. I want to tell everybody who's at one, it'll happen. It just doesn't happen it doesn't happen fast enough. But once the momentum gets going, it's fun. It gets fun. So
I think if you do house hacking, you actually do feel the momentum immediately, because the biggest impact to your financial situation, if you're a regular average Joe like me, working a job paying rent in Seattle, which back in 2018 was nearly $2,000 a month. If all of a sudden the amount that you pay each month goes from $2,000 to $300 or free, or if you get the fourplex, maybe you're even making money day one. That is a huge amount of money for an average person. I mean, that comes out to like $24,000 a year saved. That is, you cannot overstate how impactful that is for a regular person. From there,
the 24,000 again, as an accountant or a numbers guy, is actually 36K in income, because you don't pay taxes on that. It's think about that, right? If you make $80,000 a year gross, you've basically taken half of that. You just got a $40,000 raise, basically.
Right.
That's just awesome.
And so that first step in is huge. You feel it big time. It's weight off your shoulders. Now, from there, as you start to acquire and accumulate more rentals, it's a slower build until you kind of get to where I'm at right now. And I'm really starting to see things pick up pace with 10 units, as you can imagine. But don't underestimate the power of house hacking.
Yeah, it's again, if people want to ask, I mean, everybody, how do you get started? I mean, the answer I give now is house hacking, usually 4, 3, 2, 1. And then either you get it or you don't. It's that powerful. So Mike, where can people find you?
If you just Google, Instagram, YouTube, Millennial Mike, I'll pop up. I talk about out-of-state real estate investing.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy.